Hey, beautiful people. It is the 27th of February 2013 at 11:21 in the morning. Man, every day is just incredibly beautiful. And today I'm waking up to watching the OPPT, or the One People's Public Trust, just expanding at phenomenal rates. It is truly interesting to see, and it's also interesting to watch the persons that are bound to the old system, saying that it won't work because they cannot realize that they are now free. And I'm going to repeat this because it's been repeated several times, but people are not hearing it. The old system in the commercial code of maritime law, which is all about commerce, which when you go into court, it's all about having fines levied upon you. It is about you being um, owned by the corporation and you being individually a corporation. It no longer exists. Why does it no longer exist? Because when filings are filed in court, the defendant has to come in and has to state or make his case after they've been duly served, which they were, and if they don't, they default. The system is defunct because it defaulted. The OPPT, or the One People's Public Trust, shows each and every human a way how they can not participate in the pre-existing system, because it no longer exists, how they can show persons who still believe that that system exists, because yes, there are legal, not law enforcement. See, people have to understand the difference between legalities and law. Laws cannot be broken. Legalities can be broken. You have the law of karma, or law of attraction, or law of magnetics. You can't get out of that one. If you do something of lower vibration to another that you're putting out into the system, it is and will come back to you. You cannot escape it. That is law. Laws are created by this universe, by the creator, and are different in every universe. And laws are also different in every dimension, just like laws of physics. The laws of physics that we have known only pertain to the third and fourth dimension. Legalities are supposed laws, which are not laws because they can be broken by man, and they try to enforce control over individuals to make them submissive. Now, these are legalities, they're not laws. And yes, they can and have been always broken, and they're usually broken the most by the persons who make the laws, and that's why they decide to make the legalities, and that's why they decide to make them in certain ways that have loopholes for anybody who understands what's going on. Now, I was listening to a video yesterday about a gentleman who has an understanding of legality law and public trusts, and he's trying to say that we have to continue playing in the old system, as he is giving it power. But then there again, he makes money off of teaching people how to write certain trusts, which takes them through the loopholes in the system, a system which no longer exists. Now, with all the persons that are complaining about OPPT, I see persons that are part of the legal system that do not want to expose what gives them their power and authority in the system. They cannot, otherwise they lose who they are. They cannot do this. I also see persons that cannot comprehend freedom and realizing that we're not building a new government. We're not following anybody. We're just, OPPT, what that does is states our freedom, states that we are no longer controlled by the system, which no longer exists, because by their rules, playing by the pre-existing rules, the system was filed upon, and it defuncted, which made it invalid. So you're free. A lot of people have been so programmed thinking they have to have all the things that society has programmed you into to be free, or to be controlled, or to be guided, or to be led, or to be told what to do. None of these things are freedom. The OPPT has given you absolute freedom, but you have to take it. You don't really have to do anything except just be, and realize that you are sovereign. You can choose to give your power back to the system and to the authorities or whatever, to the supposed authorities. Now, the supposed authorities, they are legal enforcement. They're not even law enforcement. They are not enforcing the laws of the universe. They're enforcing the corporate legalities of the pre-existing system, which which no longer exists. Now, granted, they do it by guns. And they're going to try to promote and continue promoting the system until they realize that they are not covered by corporate law anymore, and they can be, as an individual, be served. They can be sued for silver or gold, real money, and they cannot get out of it in the system that they operate within. And it's spreading like wildfire. The news of the OPPT is spreading like wildfire because this is the real deal. This is the freedom that we've been waiting for. And it all had to come right at the same time that we are going through a collective ascension, a mass awakening and mass ascension, the raising of the frequencies of each and every individual and life form consciousness on this planet. It is all going through the system, and it's all going through the ascension, and every one of us, no matter what it is, we are expanding our consciousness, and the old third and fourth dimensional rules and legalities no longer are acceptable, and that is why it's collapsing. Now, the legal enforcement persons are the last that are realizing what's going on. If you look at the Pope, if you look at the Queen of England, if you look at the various governments in the Canadian government that have all been charged with war crimes, these suckers are hiding now. And they're going to be hiding, and they're going to be using their legal enforcement teams against anybody who tries to come and enforce the new decisions that the common law court has made against them. And see, you have to understand that this is the exact same thing that they were doing with the corporate legal structure that they had. It was unlawful. It is not lawful at all. Legal? It's only legal because a couple of people sign it and say, we're going to follow this. But it is not lawful. And in freedom, you only have to follow that which you have contracted and said, I will follow that. I will agree to that. Absolutely none of us have. It's just like going back to the Constitution. The Constitution is only for those persons who sign their name upon that, who agree into the codes of commerce that gives it authority. And that's what the OPPT does, is it removes those codes of commerce. You do not have to play anymore unless you so choose. But if you decide to, then you are giving your power away. You are losing your freedom to the system. And it's up to you to decide where you want to go. anybody who's making comments that are negative about this on my page anymore, whether it's my YouTube or my Facebook, I'm deleting and blocking you guys. I am very happy to discuss things, but when people come in with trying to enforce an old way of being in a very negative way, using profanities, using little kid 2-year-old kicking and screaming and fighting and pointing fingers, I'm gonna delete and block you. And that goes with, I've had some people that are physically handicapped by their own choices within this life, coming into this life, or the choices that they have made within this life, that are jumping up and down saying, poor, poor, pitiful me. Well, I had a couple of persons say that they do not create their reality by their thoughts and emotions. And I have tried to explain this over and over, and then they get upset with me because, man, this is a tar baby scenario. By me even trying to address some of these persons, it pulls me into their drama and the crap that they've created, and they try to manipulate my time. I'm tired of giving away my time like that. I am not about to do that anymore. I will attempt to speak to persons once or twice, maybe 3 times, but after they keep on refusing to see what the truth of how all this law works. Law is you create your own reality. Law is by what you put out into the field by law of magnetics and attraction, it comes back into you. Those are laws. I am not going to continue to argue about laws with persons who choose to play in a poor, poor, pitiful me situation where they are giving up their responsibility to change their personal situation. That's the same thing with OPPT. I am not going to continue trying to show persons what this all means if they're not willing to go out and do their homework, if they're not willing to sit down and read and comprehend what is going on. If they're going to sit there and point fingers and say this can't be done, after a while, just see ya, enjoy it. I'm gonna do what I can do, but after a while I'm gonna let you go. And if you're gonna spit out crappy comments on my page, I'm just gonna delete and block you. And I'm just not tolerating trolls anymore. Anyway, man, things are expanding so freaking quickly. It is absolutely amazing. And people are waking up, and that waking up, they're taking responsibility, they're seeing their freedom, and the vast majority of persons out there are realizing the gift that's been given. It is less than 5% that are even arguing about what's going on. I would say it's probably 2 or 3%. And a lot of it is persons that have a stake in the old system and continuing the promotion of that old system, because that's how they make their money. And they're the ones that are talking bad about what's going on with OPPT, and they're not addressing the real issues. They're sidestepping the whole thing. And the bottom line is, the corporate system was filed against and did not respond in court, and so therefore it's defunct. Simple and easy. There is no ifs, ands, or buts about it. And it's your choice whether you want to continue trying to uphold that system or not. And if you don't want to, you're free. And freedom's a interesting thing to observe, because when people have been enslaved for so long, just like during the Civil War, when people had been enslaved for generations, in the Emancipation Proclamation, freedom, and the war was over, they had no idea what to do with themselves. They were lost. And that's what's going on with a lot of humanity that's been in the system for so long. They're just at a loss as to what to do with themselves. Anyway, freedom is up to each and every one of us how we want to define that. That's enough for this video. Love you all. Bye for now.